So I want to thank you for joining us in this 5-part case study series on home cinema audio calibration. This last phase of home cinema in the whole deployment of an immersive audio system within that home cinema is crucial. It's a crucial part in the goal of achieving cinema excellence. You got to have the correctly engineered room, you got to have the right gear, you got to install it correctly, and you got to tune it correctly. It takes a better part of 2 days of work, sometimes 3, to really fine tune all those channels. Remember, you got 3 across the front, some wide, some sides, some back, some tops, and all of that has to be made to work right together. And it can't be done by simply pushing some auto calibration button on your surround decoder or AV receiver. If you want to get something kind of mildly done, maybe you can. But if you really want what we keep calling cinema excellence, you got to do it carefully, manually, with a lot of love, care, and attention, and by listening, measuring, adjusting, listening, measuring, adjusting, measuring, using measurement equipment, analyzers, all of which today you can get microphones and analyzers for not that much money. You learn how to use them. There's plenty of tutorials out there. It should be pretty straightforward. Just take the time to do it. So just wanted to summarize what we've covered over all of these clips in this series. But we started off by showing you how to configure the surround decoder. There's a lot of settings inside there. The number of times I go into a project where somebody said, yeah, it's all done, it's wonderful, and I noticed that nothing has been configured outside of just what the thing looked like, what the surround decoder looked like when it came out of the box. You got to configure the surround decoder, tell it how you want it to work. Then we talked about where to place and how to calibrate the microphones so that they're all working correctly in the room. We've talked about how to do what I call roll call, which is to verify the presence of all of the channels, make sure everything is there, make sure that the left channel is playing out of the left speaker, that the back right channel is playing out of the back right speaker. We've talked about checking the frequency response of all of those speakers, making sure that they're in fact working correctly. We've talked about how to configure and optimize the bass response. That's a really hard thing to do. And then how to do the actual tonal balance of the speakers, what is known as the amplitude response, a frequency response. There's also some amount of time response that you need to look at in there. There's a bunch of time you need to spend in the inter-channel delays. How are all of those speakers set up so that the sounds all reach your ears or the ears of the general area of the listening zone so that they work together, not one before the other, which will change the sense of the soundstage. And then we've talked plenty about what to listen for, how to tune, how to adjust, how to listen to test signals as well as music and film soundtracks. All of this together, if you do all those elements, you use the right microphones, you place them in the right place, you measure the frequency response of the speakers, measure their time response, adjust all of that, adjust the phase response, etc., 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 you will eventually get to an immersive sound experience that transports you right into the heart of the action. What do I call transport into the action? What I call transport is if after about 30 seconds of starting the movie, you're completely gone into this movie. You're sucked into it. You forget where you are, who you are, and you're in the action. That's the experience filmmakers want you to have. We actually used a real cinema, a real project we just finished in California, in which we were involved in designing the room and supplying the equipment, helping with the deployment of it all, and the video was all about the final stages, again, the commissioning and calibration. When it all got done, I gave a demo to the homeowner. His one reaction was, "This is spectacular." He was completely blown away. I think it went beyond his expectation. He was like, "I had no idea it could be this good." Now, it was good. It was good because everybody worked very well together on this project. It was good because we had a hand in every step along the way. We engineered the room, starting with the sound isolation and the shaping of the room, and the layout of where everything had to go, the control of the noise from the ventilation and other noise sources. We selected the sound system and the amplifiers and figured out what the wiring needed to be. We engineered what the acoustical treatments needed to be. We worked with the interior designer to come up with a really nice interior design. And like you saw in this video, when it was all said and done, we came in to do the commissioning and calibration. Along the way, by the way, we did regular site visits to make sure everything was working correctly through the construction process, making sure all the plans were followed correctly. So we also custom made the Gramani system speakers for best integration into this room. Nothing was left to chance, and the results are truly a cinematic, a reference grade cinematic excellence. So what do we mean by that? What is reference grade? A lot of people will use that word, throw it around as like the best. Well, what's interesting is in the cinema industry especially, there is a reference. So having worked in technology development and sound engineering at places like Dolby Laboratories and Lucasfilm THX over my career, I know what the reference standards are. There actually are well-defined standards for what the sound system needs to be, where it's supposed to be positioned, how it's supposed to be tuned, what the levels are, the frequency response, all those things it was calibrating for. And in the process of designing and deploying a system like this, I personally oversee all elements of engineering and design, all of the elements of calibration, all the elements of the engineering and the technicity that it takes to hook all this together. And this is all so that it meets the same standards you'll find in professional film screening rooms. We're just trying to do essentially the same thing that the best screening rooms and the best studios around the world are doing, and we're doing that in a residential environment. So I like to think that our carefully crafted loudspeakers, our precision-tuned subwoofers, the custom acoustical treatments that we put in there all come together as one seamless package, and primarily so that in the end, you are experiencing the same level, the same quality, the same cinema excellences that is enjoyed by top movie studios and directors. So ultimately, when it all works well, you're getting the same experience sonically, and in the case actually of this theater too, we designed the video system visually that you would find in the world's top studios, the top film environments. So this is what we mean cinema excellence. It's not just, oh, I think it sounds great. It sounds great, and it meets the reference standards that a film director, a film producer, a sound designer, a sound mixer, what they're expecting to see or what they're expecting to hear. And essentially bringing you that professional grade of sound right into your home. We can do that. You can do that. It is not as esoteric as you think. It takes time, it takes some energy, and it can be done. So I'm going to invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content. Visit us regularly and learn how to elevate your home theater experience to that professional grade so you get to experience every little element that the film director wanted you to experience. Thanks for watching all this. Really appreciate it.